In this lesson, we'll begin by exploring the three types of blood vessels and their specialized structures, then examine how these vessels work together to form a complete circuit, look at the components of blood and their specific functions, and finally, see how blood transports substances and defends the body against disease. Blood vessels form an extensive network that reaches every cell in your body. This network contains three types of vessels, each with a specialized structure suited to its function. The three types of blood vessels are arteries, capillaries, and veins. Each has unique characteristics that allow it to perform its specific role in the circulatory system. Arteries carry blood away from the heart under high pressure. The heart's powerful contractions create this pressure, forcing blood to move quickly through the arterial system. Because arteries must withstand this high pressure, they have thick, strong, and elastic walls. These walls contain multiple layers, including a thick layer of smooth muscle and elastic fibers. The central channel through which blood flows, called the lumen, is relatively small compared to the thickness of the arterial wall. This helps maintain the high pressure needed to push blood throughout the body. As arteries move further from the heart, they branch into progressively smaller vessels. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels in the body, so small they can only be seen under a microscope. Despite their tiny size, capillaries are perhaps the most important part of the circulatory system. They're where the actual exchange of substances between blood and tissues occurs. Several features make capillaries perfectly adapted for this exchange function. First, they're extremely numerous and form extensive networks that reach every cell in the body. Second, capillary walls are incredibly thin, usually just one cell thick. This minimizes the distance substances must diffuse to travel between the blood and surrounding tissues. Third, these thin walls are permeable, allowing small molecules like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and waste products to pass through easily. After passing through capillaries, blood flows into veins, which return it to the heart. By the time blood reaches the veins, it's under much lower pressure than in arteries. This presents a challenge: how to keep blood flowing back to the heart against gravity, especially from the lower parts of the body. Veins have several adaptations to overcome this challenge. First, they have a larger lumen or internal space than arteries of comparable size. This larger channel offers less resistance to blood flow, helping blood move despite the lower pressure. Second, many veins, especially those in the limbs, contain valves. These one-way valves prevent blood from flowing backward due to gravity. Third, vein walls are thinner than artery walls since they don't need to withstand high pressure. However, they still contain some muscle and elastic tissue to maintain their shape and assist with blood flow. Flowing through this complex network of vessels is blood, a specialized tissue that transports vital substances throughout the body. Blood is classified as a tissue even though it's fluid, and it makes up about 7 to 8% of your body weight. Blood consists of four main components: red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Each component has specific functions essential for survival. Let's start with red blood cells. These are the most numerous cells in your blood and give blood its red color. The primary function of red blood cells is to transport oxygen from your lungs to all the cells in your body. They also help carry some carbon dioxide back to the lungs. Red blood cells have several adaptations that make them perfect for this job. They have a distinctive biconcave disc shape, like a donut with a thin center instead of a hole. This unique shape provides a large surface area relative to volume, allowing for efficient gas exchange. Unlike most cells in your body, red blood cells have no nucleus. This allows more space for hemoglobin, the iron containing protein that binds to oxygen. In the lungs, oxygen binds to this protein, forming oxyhemoglobin. When the blood reaches body tissues where oxygen concentration is low, the oxygen separates from hemoglobin and diffuses into the cells where it's needed for cellular respiration. The next component is white blood cells. These are your body's defense force against disease and infection. While far less numerous than red blood cells, white blood cells are critical for your immune system. There are several types, each with specific roles in protecting your body. Some white blood cells, called phagocytes, can change their shape to surround and engulf harmful microorganisms in a process called phagocytosis, essentially eating the invaders. Others, called lymphocytes, produce antibodies, specialized proteins that identify and neutralize foreign substances like bacteria and viruses. White blood cells also produce antitoxins that neutralize toxins released by certain bacteria. The third component, platelets, are not complete cells but small cell fragments that don't have a nucleus. Despite their simple structure, platelets serve a vital function. When you cut yourself, platelets help form blood clots to stop bleeding. Without this clotting mechanism, even a small cut could lead to dangerous blood loss. Platelets gather at the site of injury and stick together, forming a plug that helps seal the wound. People with low platelet counts may experience excessive bleeding or bruising, highlighting the importance of these tiny cell fragments. The final component is plasma, the liquid portion of blood. Plasma makes up about 55% of your blood volume and is mostly water, with a pale, straw like color. Plasma serves as the transport medium for all the other components of blood. It carries red and white blood cells and platelets throughout your body. It also transports a variety of dissolved substances, including glucose, amino acids, carbon dioxide, and hormones. Together, these blood vessels and blood components form an extraordinary transport system.